Can you hear me? I want you to listen to me right now. This place was built for you and for football, and it's about to explode. Today is not about the past. It's not about the future. It's about right here, right now. Our players are about to take the field and put everything on the line. All the work, sweat, pain, and tears that they have poured into making themselves ready to win. When the Cowboys do that, they need to know that you are with them. We are all here together. One heartbeat, one purpose, one goal as family. We know the only way to achieve the ultimate goal is as family, together. For today, on this field, legends will be made. Legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
Y'all feel it? It's that time. I'm ready for it. Are you ready? I feel the tension. I feel the electricity. It's setting in. We're gonna dig in and fight. Hit them and then hit them some more. This game means everything to these boys. They need to hear you. So get up and let your boys hear you because they believe they can win it all for you. Come on, Dallas. Let's open up a can.
Be able to stand in front of you and get started on this unique, very unique opportunity. Obviously, anytime you got a chance to be part of an NFL opportunity, it's special. But I think stating the obvious, the uniqueness of this battle with COVID that we got in front of us, not only just here professionally, but personally. Everything we do will be about winning.
Three, two, one.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom! We are here, baby. It is that time. Pencils down. No more notes. Cowboys, Browns, Week 1 prep begins now. Hey man, if you're not fired up for this isn't your sport. This isn't what you were meant to watch every Sunday with the degenerates that are us, with the diehard Cowboy fans, with the Bomb Squad. Shouts out to you.
Bomb Squad!
I am so excited to put all the off-season nonsense behind us and start to focus week in, week out on the opposing opponent and figuring out how the Cowboys can get this dub. And that begins today, Cowboys Nation. I've got the breakdown of the Cleveland Browns offense. So we're going to look at some matchups, kind of. We're not going to go all the way into matchups. We'll dive into that a little bit later in the week. We're going to break these guys down under a microscope from their pass game, run game, play caller, all of that. If you're new here, well, buckle up because you're about to get ready, in my opinion, for I think some of the best coverage week to week in regards to the opposing team, man. I'm just fired up, Cowboys Nation. I'm fired up, Bomb Squad. I'm ready. I wish it was Sunday already, but we have to get there. And we're starting today breaking down the Cowboys defense against the Browns offense. Week 1 is always tricky. Week 1's tricky because you don't have previous film to go off of weeks ahead of time. I usually try to look at 3 games prior. All you've got is what happened last year, but things have changed in Cleveland and things have changed in Dallas. So we'll talk about all of that. All right. Let's jump right into the roundup, though. We have a little bit of news on both injury fronts for the Browns and the Cowboys. Plus, Mike McCarthy shuts down. I shouldn't say shut down. He makes something official that I guess was in limbo between fans. Not me. I figured this was what it was. But he kind of makes it official. Oh, yeah. And we have the debut for this season of the first word. Jam-packed show, y'all. Let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. So, Mike McCarthy had his very first presser of the 2024 season, right? When I say first, I mean to open up game week. And he got lots of questions about everything. And we'll actually look into a little bit of that in regards to the first word. But he did put to rest the backup quarterback. I don't know if we'll call it controversy, but I guess the question marks, and came out and named Cooper Rush the backup, I guess for now. I mean, things could change throughout the season, and which makes Lance the quarterback 3. Now, I played devil's advocate last week, just bringing up a question on what do you do here, but I highly doubt they're going to carry 3 quarterbacks on game day just to get Lance mop-up duty time. I feel like he's just going to be the emergency quarterback all year, and if something were to happen to the starter, it'll depend on how long, and if something were to happen to Cooper Rush, then he'll be called up for quarterback 2. But you are now looking at the league's most pricey quarterback 3. We had this conversation, though, months ago. We knew we were trending down this road when we looked at both Rush and Lance in regards to pay, which, again, it's not taking up 20% of your cap or anything, but I mean, $5.5 million for quarterback 3 is crazy. It's a little bit crazy, man. This ain't your fault. Hey, Trey, this ain't your fault, man. I don't blame not one iota on Trey Lance. Nope. So we'll see what happens next year in the offseason for Trey. Maybe he'll be back. Maybe he'll play this year. A lot has to happen between now and then, though. A whole lot. Wednesday, we'll get the official injury report for both teams. You know how that goes. If you don't, Cowboys Nation, every Wednesday, NFL teams put out their injury report, limited, full, out, etc. But you've got beat reporters doing some work down there, and we're getting some information on guys on both sides, both teams. And for the Cowboys, Y.A. Thomas, Damone Clark, and Israel Mukuamu all return to practice. That's a good sign. Wanye was dealing with a groin. Damone was dealing with a knee. I think Mukuamu was also dealing with a groin. I cannot quite remember, but they're all back, trending towards playing and dressing up on Sunday against the Browns. For the Browns, they actually sat out 4 players yesterday. Kicker Dustin Hopkins. That'll be interesting going into a game without a kicker, but he didn't practice. Defense line, Shelby Harris. And on offense, starting left tackle Jedrick Willis Jr. and wide receiver David Bell. Both did not practice. We'll monitor that and see how it goes because both of those players, well, Willis and Bell, play quite a bit. Willis is a starting left tackle. Bell is a part of that wide receiver rotation. Speaking of receivers, Brandon Cooks also, according to reports, no concerns for the Cowboys. So, he was kind of being monitored over the last few weeks. Got pulled out of one practice in Oxnard, and then last week in Frisco was in and out. But the reports are no concern. So the Cowboys should be full go when it comes to offense and defense, as long as they don't run into any problems during practice. Y'all know how it gets during practice. We need a prayer circle for Cowboys Thursday practices because they have not been kind to the Dallas Cowboys over the last couple seasons. But we're moving forward. We're thinking positively. We're not trying to think about all the negatives that happened last year, during practices, left tackle, center, corner, all that stuff. So everybody seems good to go. The Browns are dealing with some things. The Cowboys are trending towards the right direction. On Wednesday, we'll update you some more. And then probably Friday, we'll get a final injury report with Patrick No C. Walker. I'm still fired up, man. I'm still fired up just to be talking real Cowboys football, real breakdowns of week one. And we usually slow roll these things. One day we talk about the defense-offense matchup. The next day is vice versa. And today we're talking about the Cowboys defense against Amari Cooper and that Browns offense. Who is Amari Cooper out for revenge? I feel like he is out for some blood. Not going to lie to you. The way he was done here in Dallas, in my opinion, on his way out, they tried to send him off to Cleveland, right, and end his career there for a box of peanuts. Didn't work out. Coop's been really solid over there, and we're going to talk more about how they've been using him in their offense and how things may be changing. But before we do that, what I like to usually do is kind of give a background on coordinator, play caller, whomever it may be. And in this case, it's the head coach. The head coach, Kevin Stefanski, is the play caller for the Cleveland Browns. Now, Stefanski's interesting because he calls the plays, but he announces an offensive coordinator. Okay, and last year and for 4 years, it's been Van Pelt, I believe, but they let him go and they brought in Ken Dorsey, and we should be very familiar with Ken Dorsey, who was the offensive coordinator in Buffalo. Not when we played him, but he was there for a number of years. Also, he helped out Cam Newton at one point. But he got rid of Van Pelt, brought in Dorsey, and he's still going to be calling the plays. Now, I've got a lot of respect, a ton of respect for Kevin Stefanski. Okay? A guy that's been in Minnesota for a long time, got a shot to call plays in 2019, parlayed that into a head coaching gig in 2020. And you might say to yourself, Minnesota to Cleveland. Yeah. He was a longtime assistant under that man, Mike Zimmer. So these guys know each other. And when these cases happen, I try to find where there could be an advantage. And I do think it's Mike Zimmer. You could say it's biased, but I do think there's a bit of an advantage for Mike Zimmer as opposed to an advantage for Kevin Stefanski. Here's why. These guys actually matched up when Stefanski left Minnesota to go to Cleveland. Now, long time ago, lot of change. The teams are different. Obviously, the Browns are different. Don't even have the same players. But when they did match up, Stefanski's Browns won 14-7 in a defensive battle. It was mostly the run game that carried Cleveland to victory. And I think that could be flipped upside down on its head now. Yeah. The run game is something that the Cleveland Browns are known for, right? They used to have run game Moses there. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. But I don't think it'll be the same moving forward. Before we actually get to the full-blown breakdown, speaking of the run game, take a listen to Mike McCarthy speaking on that, as well as dealing with Deshaun Watson. He did mention a little bit about Amari Cooper as well. But this part in particular stood out to me because, I understand these guys put in a lot of work, but there's no way they can look at it the same as the same old Cleveland Browns. But here's the first word. The first word of the 2024 season.
You got to pay real close attention to how they run the ball. They're number one in the league in time of possession. So I think we were three. You talk about two teams that have the ability to, take care of the football, hold the ball. And so, we've looked at all those things. But, yeah, it's a mobile quarterback, Amari, and a tremendous run game. This is a really big challenge for our defense.
No lies told there, Amari Cooper and Deshaun Watson, and we'll talk about that. But I do think the run game will be different, Cowboys Nation. I truly do believe that. Last year, they were 4th in rushing attempts. This year, I'm not saying they're going to be 4th worst, but I wouldn't be shocked if they fall way down to the middle of the pack. And that's really not a Stefanski staple, right? To fall that far down. He comes from, Kubiak, right? He does a lot of the bootlegs, the under center runs, the set up play action, the wide zone. That's his MO. But again, one of the things that I respect about Kevin Stefanski and the reason why he's a 2-time coach of the year in Cleveland is because he can adapt. He's shown the ability to adapt. And he did that last year. Last year, he had to deal with a whole bunch of quarterback issues. Deshaun Watson not being particularly good, and then he gets hurt, and they got a quarterback carousel, and Flacco comes in. But here's why I really like him. And stop me if this sounds familiar. Kevin Stefanski had a quote earlier in the offseason when they asked him about, bringing in Ken Dorsey. He said, quote, "We love to watch tape of different teams and steal from other teams and evolve. It's something that happens every season in this league where you have to be evolving. You cannot stay the same." He goes on to talk about how he respects coaches, and the reason why you have to evolve is because these coaches aren't stupid. But y'all know what I took away. Ooh, he out there stealing. I told y'all what I would do. I'm stealing everybody's best plays and turning it into my offense. So shouts out to Kevin Stefanski for admitting, hey, I'm going to coach smarter. Why would I coach harder? What's working for you that I think could work for us? And when you go and look at last year, they weren't an explosive team. Stefanski had to operate what he had with what he had. Watson, look, man, he's not the same guy he was in Houston. Okay. But once he went down and they brought in Joe Flacco, they became an explosive offense. Before Flacco, the first 12 weeks of the season, 27th in explosive plays overall, 27th in passing explosive plays too. Then Flacco got there, and if you know Joe Flacco, he lives in YOLO land. He don't care. He's pushing a rock downfield, and they were among the league leaders in big plays. But they adapted a lot of what they did. Flacco not walking through that door. Deshaun Watson is. And Deshaun Watson has been kind of in and out of practices, didn't play in preseason. We know he was dealing with the injury. We know they just restructured his contract, has a ridiculously, massive contract. And they'll be welcoming in a tweaked offense under Deshaun Watson. He calls it a new offense. Okay, they got a new offensive coordinator in Ken Dorsey, a new offensive line coach, no Bill Callahan. Now, he used to coach there in Cleveland, but it was a long, long time ago. So they're bringing in different systems to mesh now. And they asked Deshaun Watson about the new system. And he said, quote, "A lot of opportunities for the receivers to be able to really showcase their skills. A lot of guys moving around. A lot of guys being able to play different spots. And then to myself, to just be free and not really kind of controlled in a sense. Really just kind of go out there and be able to showcase the spread offense, throw it around, run around, and make some plays happen. So that's very exciting for myself." Y'all hear anything about a run game? I don't hear a whole lot of that. Mind you, this type of spread offense, run around, throw around, make plays, that's what got Ken Dorsey kicked out of Buffalo. Now, I'd imagine he's going to learn from some of his mistakes. But I don't think Deshaun is Josh. And Josh, he's a turnover machine, and I think a lot of it had to do with that free reign. Granted, he's been a turnover machine for a little bit here. But Deshaun Watson wasn't great at taking care of the ball last year. He had some mind-boggling interceptions. And mind you, the Cowboys bring an explosive pass rush. And shouts out to Next Gen Stats, NFL Pro. Going to be using them all year. Love it. Among the 42 quarterbacks who threw at least 150 passes in 2023, Deshaun Watson had the 4th lowest completion percentage and 3rd longest time to throw when under pressure. Well, how does that correlate, Sky? Well, the Cowboys pressured opposing quarterbacks on 42.5% of their dropbacks last season, the highest rate of any defense in the league. There is a bit of a difference this year, right? The Cowboys, I don't think, are as deep from a defensive end, pass rush, edge rusher standpoint. However, I do think there will be systematically that'll be able to mitigate it a little bit. I don't know if it's going to, the Cowboys are going to be number 1 again, but the Cowboys got a Micah Parsons over there. The Cowboys have a Micah Parsons. That quarterback tends to hold the ball a lot and long. And usually when the Cowboys play a quarterback that holds the ball for a long time, that clock gets sped up. We had clocked it actually for like the first half of the year a few years ago, and everybody's time to throw dropped drastically. And it doesn't matter if they came in number 1 in holding the ball or whatnot, that it dropped. So I say, if he wants to hold the rock, cool. That just gives more time for one of, if not the most explosive pass rusher in the league to get home in Micah Parsons. Ken Dorsey, you want to spread this thing out and send all these routes downfield? Cool. It's more time to get home. You want to do a spread, a run and gun without the run? Cool. Works out for us. We're still trying to figure out how we can stop the run, right? We got to go out there and put it on film and on the field. But there is no Nick Chubb walking through that door. Jerome Ford is. And while Jerome Ford was serviceable, right? Like he was good. No doubt about it. He held it down. 4 yards per carry, 800 yards. Was an even better pass catcher than you would think. He had like 9 total touchdowns. 5 of them was out the backfield, right? As a receiver. So shouts out to him. Respect him. He ain't Nick Chubb. Run game Moses is not there. He was an offensive line coach for 4 years, and that aura or the run game kind of took a hit last year with Chubb out, offensive line injuries anyway. So maybe their best bet is to throw the ball all over the field. But unfortunately, the Cowboys, even with the injury to Deron Bland, I think still are most deep and most proven in the secondary. So I say I welcome it. I welcome Deshaun Watson dropping back, trying to throw into the teeth of this defense, into a scheme that's going to make him hold the rock, think a little bit, and make him have to run around. And the Cowboys have dealt with running quarterbacks is a mixed bag, and really it's more so PTSD because running quarterbacks give the Cowboys trouble, historically speaking. But I don't know. I've watched Deshaun Watson's tape last year, and it wasn't that Deshaun was trying to run around and run. Deshaun was trying to run around and make plays, and he wasn't doing that. So you might look at his 5-1 record last year and be like, man, he played some good ball. He really didn't. You know what I'm saying? The Browns defense, which we'll talk about tomorrow, really carried that team for a very long time until, Flacco got there. So shouts out to Jerome Ford. They did sign Donta Foreman a little bit late, and they got Pierre Strong coming back. That backfield just isn't as scary as it was with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb and run game Moses, Bill Callahan. Callahan dipped out, went to go coach with his son in Tennessee. So I don't really fear the run game. I don't really fear it at all. I don't believe in Ken Dorsey. Now, Alex Van Pelt, or not Van Pelt, but I believe it's Coach Dickerson. Maybe he brings something. He was a coach in Seattle. Maybe he brings some type of run game there, but it ain't Bill Callahan. And it ain't Nick Chubb running out there. So I say bring it on, okay? Now, if they are going to throw it, we know damn well Amari Cooper is going to be their guy. And you can say, well, Sky, you're burying the lead. Cooper's out for blood. He's a silent assassin. He's not going to say too much in the media this week. He's not going to say too much on the field. And while, yes, he knows the Cowboys cornerbacks know him. Let me ask you something. Do you follow and Zim, I don't think does this often. And we have no idea how often he's going to do it. But sorry guys, with Bland out, I don't think you even if Bland was there, I don't think you would follow. Right? I think you would just say line him up, Bland, Diggs, and let's roll. With Bland out, you know they're going to test the rookie, Kalen Carson. Do you follow Diggs with Amari Cooper, who they've battled? Lots of battles, in camp, at practices, or whatever. Coop still got it, man. Coop can still hoop. He still can route you up. People wanted to push him out, off the team and off the bridge, and all he did was go to Cleveland with suspect quarterback play and be a consistent wide receiver one for them. Again, shouts out to, Next Gen Stats. Next Gen had Amari Cooper second in the NFL when they pushed the ball downfield. 629 receiving yards on vertical routes, was tied with your boy, CD Lamb, and well behind Tyreek Hill, but that's a whole different story. And his resume is impressive when he's going up against top guys. That's another thing a lot of people was like, hey, he never really had great games against, the top corners. Well, he got the damn Cleveland and was routing up the Wards of the worlds. Routing up, who's the kid in Houston? Everybody loves. Stingley. So right off the bat, I think they're going to try to get him on the rookie. And again, I want to say this. Please be patient with the young man. We can be excited for all these guys. They're going to have ups and downs. Hell, it may happen in this game. But I got to keep it a bean with you. The one thing coming out of college, and you can go back, you can clock me, that I said, hey, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for Kalen Carson. If there was one negative to his game coming out that I noticed was when teams challenge him downfield, when receivers are allowed to get deep in their routes, if he's not up in their chest and stopping them at the line of scrimmage, he can be taken advantage of. If he's playing a bit soft and they get on his heels, and this is a guy that can route you up, he has some trouble. So if Amari Cooper is allowed to get free releases, if Amari Cooper is allowed to get even with him, it will be interesting to see how he holds up, which is why I would consider Diggs. Diggs knows Amari Cooper. So I asked a question earlier. I'll go back into the chat here. Would you follow Diggs with Amari Cooper? Or would you follow Amari Cooper with Diggs? Apologies. And Scotty says, guy asking, he's laughing because I'm asking y'all to be patient. Look, I'm asking the smart fans here to be patient with these young guys. It's going to happen. They're going to give up a play, maybe a bad game, whatever. Don't write them off. But this is a tough matchup for Kalen Carson. It's a tough matchup because the one thing that he struggled with on tape is the one thing that the Browns, at least last year, did well with Amari Cooper, and that's push the rock downfield. Big Dow says yes. Aaron says nah, just play the scheme. T-Dub, nope. That's a good point too, Sally Duck. Diggs coming off the injury. So maybe a compromise in that sense too, in the fact that Diggs is 100%, but this is Diggs' first game since an ACL injury. So either way, you might be dealing with a hampered side of the field. Fair enough. But Diggs isn't all pro. See, Nick, you got that right. Marcus would rather put Izzy out there. You said Coop is gimpy. I didn't hear anything about Coop in regards to injury wise. Silos, maybe if he wasn't coming off an injury, but how is it no to shadowing? I would look, he's not going to tell us. So matter of fact, don't even ask him, but I would love to be a fly on the wall of the gameplay. Now, here's this, though. Here's this thought, Cowboys Nation. this isn't really going to be like Dan Quinn of yesteryear, where Dan had a lot of these guys playing on an island. So you can say, look, Rook, just go out there, play free, which is what, if you listen to Maris Leofow, that's what they're asking those rookies to do. Go play free. We got your help over top. We're going to see a lot more shell coverage, right? We're going to see a lot more too high safeties helping out the boundary corner. So you could just say, look, man, just stay where you at. We're going to give you help with the safeties. And last year when watching Joe Flacco, Joe didn't give a damn. He was taking the turkey hole shots in the cover two. He was just out throwing cover. He don't care. I don't really see that with Deshaun Watson. I mean, Deshaun Watson in Houston, but that was y'all understand? 2020 was the last time Deshaun Watson was good. What's the sentiment around him? At one point, everybody he's top 3-4 quarterback in the league. He's better than Dak, but every quarterback that keeps saying it about Dak just continues to outlast. Deshaun got to prove it to me. The talent is there clearly. Obviously, we know he can. He has the arm. He has the ability. It's there, but the guy doesn't look the same. And all jokes aside, with the Houston situation, just purely talking about on the field, he does not put that same fear in my heart that he may have years ago. And he wasn't particularly good when he was out there last year. Now we get a new system. Okay. Another option for Deshaun Watson will be David Njoku. I got nothing bad to say about this guy. I liked him coming out of Miami. It took him a long time to break out. But again, when you're in Cleveland, man, you kind of got a grade on the scale. The Cleveland Browns, just not a good organization. But of late, new-ish general manager, Kevin Stefanski, they've turned it around. But he had a huge breakout year last year. He led all tight ends in yards after catch, and he broke the second most tackles and was 6th in yards total. And when you watch him, he is dangerous because he's one of those tight ends that's like George Kittle, right? This isn't a possession guy that, all right, he got a 10-yard catch, he's going down. Nah, Njoku can take 110 and go 50. He can take 1-5 and go 70. And given that we're going to play a lot more shell, there's going to be more windows in the middle of that field for Njoku to operate in. And when Deshaun Watson coverage breaks down, or not breaks down, when the pressure breaks or gets to him and he's running around, you got to keep your eye on that guy. So I expect to see him targeted heavy in this game and really in the red zone if they get there, right? Because he was the third most targeted tight end in the red zone. Oh, yeah. Jake Ferguson was the most targeted tight end in the red zone last year. So when they get down there, keep your eye on David Njoku. Again, no more Nick Chubb, no more Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was the one who led their team in touchdowns last year, and that's because they would get in the red zone, give Kareem Hunt the ball. He has a nose for the end zone. They're going to target Njoku. So do you play matchup there? Do you continue to stick to your scheme? It's going to be interesting to see. But at least we got a guy like Kendricks in the middle to get these guys where they need to be. This is where, if we're going to play matchup, right? I don't think Zimmer is going to do this, but I'm just throwing it out there. If you're going to play matchup week in, week out, and with a tight end, man, Wanye Thomas. Wanye Thomas would be a fantastic guy. Now, maybe you save it for the red zone, but I will 100% consider throwing Wanye out there to man up with an Njoku. I feel like he has the physical demeanor, the coverage ability. He's one of your most well-rounded, if not the most well-rounded safety. So I would love for them to throw out Wanye in that matchup capacity. But Zim, again, things could change. Remember, guys adapt. That usually isn't his calling card. And this isn't the Byron Jones era. Remember, Byron Jones was a tight end stopper, throw Byron out there, etc. The Cowboys don't do that. Or Zimmer doesn't do that. Dan Quinn would throw out J-Ron to man up on these guys, and he would get work. It's just facts. But Njoku he could be an X factor in this game. Or maybe Jerry Jeudy could be an X factor in this game. Jerry Jeudy's new. He just got here, traded for him. A guy the Cowboys had on their radar. Weird start to his career. Had over 700 yards last year in Denver. Comes to another questionable quarterback team, but I think a better group around him. And now he's going to be in an offense that's going to chuck the ball around. Let's just be real. Ken Dorsey's not here to run the rock. And again, another reason why Dorsey got pushed out the door is because he wasn't protecting his quarterback. He wasn't protecting the defense. And Kyle Brady said, look, we got to mix this thing up a little bit. We got to run a little bit more. We got to use our running backs out the backfield. And it worked for them. So Jeudy walks into a team that's going to throw the ball around a lot. And Jeudy, like, again, the talent's there for Jeudy, but the production's been very mid. Mentally, he hasn't been the best teammate. But don't let him do the Odell Beckham thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Odell Beckham was pretty damn washed in Cleveland, but when the Cowboys went up against him in 2020, Odell Beckham turned the clock back. Don't let that happen. Jerry Jeudy doesn't strike fear in my heart. I think the Cowboys match up very well with Jerry Jeudy, but you don't get home to Deshaun Watson and you don't cover well, you have breakdowns, then he's very capable. You know what I mean? He's very capable. But for me, it's about Amari and it's about David Njoku. If you can corral those guys, make things tough on them, contested catches, make Deshaun Watson hold the ball, you're going to have a very good chance to thwart this offense. And you can say, well, Scott, we got to stop the run. 100%. Like, there's no doubt about it. You can go up against the worst running team in the league if they're able to get off and be productive and efficient and have short down and distances. Yeah. So, sure, you can't let Jerome Ford and Donta Foreman go off for 4.5, 5 yards a clip. Another thing that happened in that 2020 game, it was some random running back, if y'all remember, went off. He was going off. So Cowboys definitely have to do that. And we know with the new additions of defensive tackle with Mike Zimmer here, that's one of the main things they want to do is force you to be one-dimensional. Not to mention Eric Kendricks. I got to keep bringing up Eric Kendricks. He's going to be very important to this run game, run defense. So there you have it, Cowboys Nation. My kind of thoughts on this Browns offense. And I know you could say, well, you didn't bring up that offensive line. Yeah, they got one of the most talented offensive lines in the league when healthy, right? When healthy. They asked guard Joe, Bitonio, Pro Bowl guard. They asked him about those scheme changes I talked about earlier. And he said, quote, the first few weeks of camp, we used 3 or 4 different offenses to try to create our offense. You have Buffalo with Dorsey, Coach Dickerson from Seattle, our own offense, and you got Roy, our assistant from Philly. That's a lot of chefs in the kitchen. Now, obviously, they've likely narrowed that down to how they want to do things, but this is week 1, man. Week 1, it's usually messy in general, especially for teams who, don't play starters in preseason, and even if you do, it's still one of those situations where the first few weeks of the season is like preseason. So you got this gumbo of offenses you're putting together. Quarterback who didn't play a whole lot last year, coming off injury, who's suspect in general. Run game without one of the best running backs in the league. I think the advantage Cowboys. When you look at the Cowboys defense against this Browns offense, I think the advantage is the Cowboys defense. Yes, there's a new scheme here. I get it. But from the talent-wise, I think the Cowboys are more talented. Matchup-wise, I think the Cowboys match up with this team. Kevin Stefanski, while I 100% respect his offensive system, under center, play action, boots, got to be ready for that. And he does a lot of, pre-snap motion as well. This isn't Dan Quinn's defense, right? Where the Cowboys got taken advantage of with the pre-snap looks, post-snap action. this is going to be a much more disciplined defense. If Stefanski wants to have a good offensive day, it will have to come on the back, in my opinion, of its run game. The run game will have to keep the Cowboys off balance. It just has to. If not, now we're talking about Micah Parsons getting after it, kneeling. If they're going to roll out, I think Jack Conklin is the right tackle, but if Willis can't play, then he goes to left, which he ain't played in the league, I don't think. You got your new improved defensive tackles. This is week 1. They might be veterans, but it's week 1. So it's not like this is week 13 and we're worried about them wearing down. So I like this Cowboys matchup defensively against this offense. I do. That doesn't mean that they don't have players. We talk about it. Coop, Njoku, Judy, Ford, Watson. Stefanski is a very good offensive play caller. But this is a new scheme for him. And again, I respect him. The ability to adjust. The ability to steal other teams' plays that work. I respect that. But I think Zim knows him. I think, look, yes, he loves to kind of open up a little bit and allow other guys to have say, but maybe there might be too many chefs in the kitchen this early. Don't be surprised if by middle of the season you hear about Kevin Stefanski kind of corralling this offensive system. That's all I'm saying. All right, it's time to hear from Cowboys Nation about this matchup. We got my guy. Oh, by the way, if you want to call in, you can. 351-999-3787 is a calling line. Let's wrap to Banks. Good morning, Banks. How you doing?
Morning, Scott. How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good. Yeah, man, I'm ready to see this matchup against Coop. I do think Coop is he got some, he want to get a little bit of revenge. But far as us, how we going to go about it, I just say I wouldn't have Diggs follow him. I like Diggs just, staying on one side personally. But, we can see how it goes. I think it's a formidable matchup, especially for our defense, to kind of see where they at versus the run and the pass. And it's a good challenge, especially for Kalen Carson. So I like him to stay on one side, man, because Coop works inside and out. So, you know what I mean, that I had Diaz going inside and all. So I kind of like him to stay on one side person. But also, man, as far as against his offense, I know you spoke about Ken Dorsey. He was also the coordinator last year when we went against Buffalo, correct?
No, they fired him by that point in time.
They fired him before? Oh, yeah, they did.
Kyle Brady.
They did.
Kyle Brady's the one who – and Kyle Brady's the one who worried me. Well, when I was studying them, I was like, man, I wish it was Ken Dorsey because Ken Dorsey didn't run the ball. Ken Dorsey didn't use their running back Cook, and Kyle Brady was, and he was using them out the backfield. And he took advantage of everything that worried me about that matchup. But he now you got Ken Dorsey in Cleveland where it's a spread offense, and I walk them. Now, any team that wants to, their game plan is to drop back with Micah Parsons on that side of the ball, and now with Mike Zimmer, who has an understanding of, okay, you want to try to take Micah away, well, we're going to blitz our linebackers, we're going to blitz our safeties, our corners, we're going to try to get him one-on-one with the linemen up front. Zimmer's going to play way more of a chess match game than Dan Quinn did. So you want to drop back 30, 40 times? Yeah. Be my guest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I forgot, man, because they started Rocky and they fired him. That's what they kind of got on track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Yeah. But, man, I'm excited for it, man. Like I said, I just think it's a good matchup for our team all around, as far as offensively and defensively. So,
yeah, it's a fun matchup. Both sides of the ball. Can't wait to break down tomorrow, but couldn't ask for a better opening game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then also, man, either way it goes, man, I wouldn't get too hung up on it because week 1 is kind of it doesn't tell the whole story how your team gonna be. It's an extension of the preseason, so we just still kind of working out the kinks. So, but yeah, man, that's all I got, man.
All right, brother, appreciate you.
All right, no problem. Yeah.
Shad fan, Njoku went to Miami. Just to correct you there, he was a Miami guy. I like him coming out, man. But But see, he was one of those guys until last year. You could throw those first round tight ends that are busts. All right. Again, yeah, like a year when it was like 600 yards. But other than that, when you picked in the first round, you're expected to be better than that. And he wasn't. Injuries, Cleveland, it just is what it is. But he's legitimate. He's a legitimate talent, and he proved that last year. And he's a guy you got to watch out for. Got to watch out for him. Let's wrap to Jimmy Fly Hook'em. What's up, Jimmy?
What's up with us, Scott? What you got going on, man?
Man, breaking down this week 1 matchup.
Man, I'm just jumping in a little late, but I sound like I hear y'all talking about, who's going to be I heard something about Amari Cooper and Diggs. I'm wondering, in your opinion, outside of Cooper, what the rest of the matchup is like in the wide receiver room, like Jerry Jeudy and their third wide receiver. I don't know who that is. I think it's like last name is like Moore or something like that. But
Elijah Moore, David Bell. Yeah. They so I like Elijah Moore. We should be familiar with them as well. But J. Lou, I like that matchup. That's the type of guy J. Lou is supposed to be here for. Shifty slot guy. That matchup to me breaks even though Moore is talented. As for Kalen Carson, the matchup that worries me is if they put Amari Cooper, they try to match him up with Amari Cooper a lot. That's going to be challenging for Kalen Carson. It is what it is. But he just gotta stay out of his head. Don't let a bad play get to him. Don't turn into AB. You know when a bad play happen to AB, it's a wrap. And just be him. Be that dog mentality guy, one play at a time type situation. David Bell is out right now. He's like their fourth wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy. Now, Jerry Jeudy, again, veteran dude, got talent, could be, he could give some challenges to Kalen Carson as well. But I'm all right with that matchup. I mean, Kalen Carson against Jerry Jeudy, just let them battle it out. It's Coop's nuance and know-how that worries me a little bit against a rookie cornerback.
I would agree, because definitely, man, that's one thing I did not like when Coop left, because you can't deny his route running skills, man.
Yeah.
At all, man. Dude is pretty ridiculous with it on the cool. Now, Jerry Jeudy, I know he went to Alabama too, but I don't know much about him as far as his game and nothing like that, other than that he fast. But for some reason, I got some faith in our rook, man. I got a feeling Buddy might step up and surprise some people week 1, man. That'll be welcome for sure, especially with the injuries that just came.
If he come out and he has a good game, you talk about a confidence booster for the rest of the season. Like if he comes out and he locks up Amari Cooper or he has some play, he don't even got to lock him up, bro. All he has to do.
I'm about to say, it ain't even got to be great. It could be just
make a couple plays.
Right. Yeah. Give me something to look at and be like, all right, man, we good.
Right.
We straight. You know what I mean? But I think he might be able to do at least that on the cool. I feel like he'll be good in that regard, man. Outside of that, though, I'm with you. If they plan to literally run a spread offense with our speed on defense,
go ahead.
I'm like, oh boy, I'm taking. Good luck. For real. At that point.
Yeah. Facts though. I mean, you want Micah rushing you all game, especially with a hampered left tackle and possibly a right tackle moving the left tackle. Be my guest.
Man. That's all I have, man. I'm just chiming in real quick. I'm going to look forward to I think you said you was going to break it down further tomorrow, so I'm going to tap in with you then to see what you're talking about.
Yes, sir. We're going to talk about the Browns defense against Cowboys offense. That one to me is a little bit more of the heavyweight matchup.
I agree. Glad to see old Cooper BB get that start at center row. I was hoping he'd get there before week 1, so that was cool to see.
He earned that too, didn't he?
Man, he did. Putting folks on their backs.
Dirting them. That's how you like to see it, man.
Man.
I appreciate you, Jimmy.
All right, man.
Week 1's so tricky, man. Week 1's so tricky. But look, like I said, if that's what they want to do, I'm all for it. If this was Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Run Game Moses, this matchup I'd be a little bit more concerned about. They ain't walking through that door. The guru said, I forgot Judy's in Cleveland, and Cowboys had Jeudy ready to head of Lamb at draft time. Quote, I'm not sure where they had him, but I know they was happy as hell when CeeDee Lamb fell to him. So Jeudy went ahead. I mean, it was Jeudy and the kid in Oakland. Wasn't there another Alabama dude? It's on the tip of my tongue. But he's in jail now. But those two went ahead of CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. So that's interesting. But it doesn't matter. Cowboys got CeeDee Lamb and they got Judy now. But Judy, he's got a lot to prove. What's the kid's name in Oakland? Oh, I'm sorry, Las Vegas. It's at the tip of my Ruggs. I almost say Tox. I almost say Riggs. But I was like, nah, it ain't Riggs. That's Law's show. Shouts out to Law. Ruggs. Yeah. Henry Ruggs. Where'd you go? Don the Orca said, worried about wide receiver versus cornerback, rookie cornerback, like we said. Yeah, that's if I had to say, hey, what's the one matchup that does worry you coming into this game on that side of the ball? It's the Rook. And that does not mean I don't like the Rook. That does not mean I don't believe in the Rook. First game against that route running machine, it's a tough matchup. That's why, look, he doesn't have to shut him down. Make a play. Oh, if he gets a pick in it. If he gets a pick blanketing Coop. But anyway, make some plays, fight your ass off. Don't make it easy for Coop. That's a win for me. In a win, right? We don't want you giving up game-winning plays and things like that. But in a win, that's a win. Take that tape, go study it, and get ready for the next week. Yeah, Henry Ruggs, man. What a disappointment. Typical Raiders fashion, right? We're going to take the fast guy. Lost in translation, dropped Overshown's name. Yeah, Overshown, he's back. We talked about that the other week. I think last week. So he's back from his injury. Maybe he's a guy that, if he's out there, matches up with the David Njoku. If I had to guess, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of Maris Leofau in week 1. Special teams, maybe some packages where Maris Leofau is going forward. I think you're going to get a whole lot of Kendricks, Overshown in this game. Whole lot of. Yeah, Philly took Jalen Reagor, man. And Minnesota laughed at him. Now, they got the last laugh by having a better outcome over the years, but either way, taking Jalen Reagor. Was it Jalen Reagor? Yeah, taking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Crazy. Dylan said, I'm worried about the DTs holding up over the course of the season, Dylan, or in this game. I think that's different. Over the course of the season, maybe a legitimate concern because you got hurt guys and older guys. But in one game, that's a little different. In one game, yeah, these boys can go. For the first game, like I said, week 13, you on to something. Week 1, man, these boys is ready. I can't pronounce Cam. All right, we'll go Cam. Cam said might need Bland for this, but he out. Yeah, Cam. Yeah, he gone, brother. It'd have been nice to have him. I wouldn't be talking about potentially moving Diggs around. But I'll say this. This is something that Dan Quinn did do last year. So, not a whole lot of following under Quinn. But when Bland was getting worked by DK Metcalf, DQ called audible. Or Gilly said, look, coach, come on, man. I got this. And Gilly went over there and followed DK. So if we get into this game and they're like, look, we're not going to play around with putting him over there on Diggs. We're going to test this rookie early and often. And it's not working out. Don't be surprised if Mike Zimmer says, okay, Rook, we're going to give you some help here. We're going to have Diggs follow him and we'll just play it that way. Don't be surprised because we know one thing. Zim not going to sit on his hands. Zim being on that field is going to try to figure it out and work through it. But if it's an issue and we're not having any success, I do think he'll call an audible. I think he's going to call an audible. Paul wants them to be cautious with Diggs. In what way? Because he's playing. Diggs is playing, man. You're not going to put him on a pitch count, I don't think. Okay, so Dylan said he's worried about the D line or the D tackles over the season. That's fair. Yeah, they got a good offensive line for sure. But I do like the D tackles that the Cowboys brought in, right? The fat boys. That's going to help because you're not asking them to really get behind the line of scrimmage. You're just asking them to occupy the line of scrimmage and free up these ridiculously athletic, fast, smart linebackers. And they do that very well. Now, Phillips can go. I think Phillips, he's such an enigma because you see him be dominant for certain stretches. He can do that, but then he's not. But I like this group week 1, 100%. Nealon and Micah and D-Law and Phillips, Osa, and who am I missing? Linval Joseph. I like it. I like your week 1. This is going to be a heavyweight matchup between that group and the Browns offensive line, which no doubt about it is a talented offensive line. But I think, again, they lose a little bit of that luster without Bill Callahan, without Nick Chubb. Like that matters. We know when we lost run game Moses, we were trying to find that footing, and we just never really did on the ground when you think about it. Cowboys, I argue, got a better offensive line talent-wise. But when run game Moses left, we leaned on that talent in 2016, and then it never really found that run game footing. And they're dealing with injuries too. Willis is banged up. Conklin he was out all last year. He hasn't played in a long time, really. I mean, most of last year. It's not often you're going to go into a game like this with a talented offensive line and feel that confident. But week 1, I'm confident, man. I'm confident. Now, once you get to Detroit, we'll have more film. That's a real-ass offensive line with the same scheme, coming back, play caller, real run game behind them, weapons. That could be a bit more of a challenge. And you play well against them last year, but that could be a bit more of a challenge. Bill Callahan is in Tennessee with his son, the guru. With his son. It says, Joseph getting worn down and having to let Mozzie carry the work is my worry over the season. Yep, that's a legitimate worry. Now, as long as Joseph isn't out, I'm fine. If Joseph is out and Mozzie doesn't take a step, that scary proposition there. Scary proposition. Paul said, against an elite route runner cutting against Amari, I think they should ease him in, is what I mean. I don't know how you do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you ease Diggs in week 1 without DaRon Bland. You might have a thought there if DaRon Bland was there, but even if you did, I think you just say, Diggs, go play. What do you tell Diggs that we're going to give you 20 snaps? Now you're rolling out McQuamu and Carson. That's why, to me, you don't play around. Either he's ready or he ain't. You can't go into this thing scared. You cannot coach and play like that at all. It'd be one thing if Diggs was out all camp and came back the last week. Diggs been there all camp. Diggs got back quickly. He was making plays. He's moving around well. You let him go out there and you let him play. You don't tell him to go out there and think about an injury because you're on 20 snap count. You go play. You're here now. You're on that field. You're playing. If you don't think he's ready for that, then you bench him, and you say, hey, we'll put you out there in week 4 or something. But the problem is you don't have Bland. Totally different discussion now if you go into week 4 weeks into the season, and your cornerbacks are Israel McQuamu and Kalen Carson. Totally different thing, man. I don't know, man. I think you just gotta let Diggs play. You just gotta let him play, and if he ain't ready, then you don't play him. Tino said if he good, he playing. That's how I feel. If he's good, you go out there and you play, man. You don't because in my opinion, if you say, "Hey, Diggs, we got you on the pitch count," now you just put himself in his head. Oh man, I'm on a pitch count. I've been working all off season. I'm good to go. Now I got to go out there and be extra aggressive trying to make a play instead of just letting the game ease into him. That's all I'm saying. That's a fact, CD. He playing football. Ain't no easing in. Either you can play or you can't. That's how I feel. The only thing that changes for me, like I said, is if he missed all of camp, a la CD Lamb, right? Now, Lamb got back with a good 2 weeks or so that's good. But if he missed all of camp, then the discussion is valid because we're trying to figure out, hey, can you even move right? But we know he can. We know he can. Oh, this is interesting. I'm going to poll this too. Toxic Tom. I know it's only week 1, but this is a must-win game. Need to set the tone that you can beat good teams, especially on the road. Cowboys Nation. Is this a must-win week 1 game? Yes or no? Week 1 must-win game. Toxic coming from the top rope. You know, I know why you saying that, Toxic. This is why Toxic saying that. Because if the Cowboys lose, Toxic just want to come back here and say, same old same, Cowboys suck. This ain't gonna happen. That's what you want. Because you know we know your toxic nature. But let me tell you why this isn't a must-win game. Historically speaking, when the Cowboys lose in week 1, they make the playoffs. So look, end of the day, I want this damn victory. End of the day, a lot of this has to do with how the Cowboys are playing. But I'll be damned if I come back here after week 1 if the Cowboys don't get the victory and I'm just like, oh, season's over. Same old same, because it was a must-win game. It's only 17 of these things. You could argue all of them are must-wins. Right? But in the literal definition, ain't no must-win game. Let's relax, y'all. Let's relax. But I know your game, Toxic. I know your game. Let's see. Yes, just to shut up, Stephen A. The guru says Toxic gonna say I told you so, but he don't say it like that. Oh, no. Toxic has his way of saying I told you so. Y'all know that. Marv, no. Fog, no. Well, I think it was the Lions, Fog, that beat the Chiefs in week 1 last year, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Herbert, yes. C, no. Hallelujah, no. Demetrius says every game, so yeah. See Nick start off strong. I don't know if that's a yes or no. Marcus, no. Nah, still preseason. Nate Newton says the first few weeks of the season are preseason nowadays. Nah for Kyle. No Face says no. Damian, yep. This thing like 50-50. Y'all crazy. It's the damn road. Hell the F. Yes, says Justin. Special K, nah, but it'd be great if we won 100%. I should have really polled this so we can get a percentage. I think we got more yeses. This thing might be 55, 40, 45, I mean. Oh, there you have it, man. Week 1, must win, Cowboys Nation. Dallas loses this game, season's over. You heard it here first. The Bomb Squad has officially voted. No, you're toxic because Randy Gregory said Cowboy fans are toxic. You were Tom Downey burner account. Then you became toxic. You can't play this game with me. I know your game, dog. I know your game. Two Broke said, I don't want to say that this is the first game is a must win, but given that the first few games are tough, then I would say yes. Two Broke, you dancing in the middle, big dog. You're dancing in the middle. 214. Is week 1 a must win game for the Dallas Cowboys?
Scott, what's up, big dog?
What's good with you?
Man, I had said yes only because of the reason. I mean, we got the Saints. We could probably beat them. But then it's just the road ahead. The Ravens, New York, probably beat them. I mean, the Steelers, they defense, 50-50 maybe, depending on how Russell play. Then we got the Lions, 49ers, Falcons.
1 week at a time, big dog. 1 week at you're going to give yourselves an aneurysm if you think of it like that, bruh. 1 week at a time. You know why? And I'm learning this every single year, man. These teams aren't always who you think they are in August. And your team isn't always who you think you are in August. So
Right.
you really just got to approach these things 1 week at a time, man. Injuries happen. Teams aren't as good. Teams are better. Things by week 6, who do the Cowboys play week 6? Detroit? Pittsburgh? Whoever it is, they may not be the same team. They be falling flat on their face. 1 week at a time, big dog.
Right. That's what I said too. We're just taking 1 week at a time. I'm just looking at the first half of the
Let me get the
schedule.
official
Like,
numbers.
we
Oh, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I'm gonna actually put the poll up for the nation real quick.
you good, Scott. I was just saying, it's just the first half of the schedule, the one that just kind of give me a little concern. That's all. So I would like to go out and win week 1, but if we don't, I mean, I don't want to feel like that. Our backs on the ropes. That we gotta kind of, start approaching the other games as okay, must win. So it'd be nice if we win, but if we don't, I mean, like you said, historically speaking, we lose the first game and go on to win 12 games and have winning season. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the past doesn't always dictate the future in that sense, but it's really weird how the Cowboys lose week 1 and they always make the playoffs.
Facts.
Really strange.
So appreciate the call, bro.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate the call. I put the poll up, I think. Did it go through, y'all? Oh, yeah. Is week 1 a must-win game that determines the Cowboys season? Because that's what must-win is. Is week 1 a must-win game that determines the Cowboys season? I will let this thing go. We got 57 votes. We will revisit this in a little bit here. Shouts out, by the way, to all 841 of y'all that are in here in today's first show of week 1 as we prep for the opening kickoff. Shouts out to you. I'll have more information on where we will be this upcoming season for Game Day Live. If you're in the DFW area and want to come kick it with us, me and Jesse Alley. So stay tuned for that. 469, what it do?
Hey.
What's up?
So, yeah, man, this week 1 game, I think my biggest concern is the matchup with what was stated about Trayvon Diggs and Amari Cooper. I know that we got the rookie there, and he been showing his thing, but at the same time, Cooper's a detailed guy, and he's going to take advantage of either the rustiness, being that Trayvon has not been there, or the inexperience of the rookie. So, that's my big concern.
You know what I wish, man? I wish Lamb was available all camp so they could have those battles. You know what I mean? Like, if Lamb and Diggs was battling all camp and Diggs was getting the better of him from time to time, I wouldn't have a single worry because we've seen him go up against a better receiver. Yes, CeeDee Lamb's better than Amari Cooper, and I'd be like, look, we're good to go. But he hasn't played that caliber receiver in camp, right? Tolbert is not that. Cooks is not that, although he's a serviceable wide receiver too. So it is going to be, interesting to see how he matches up right out the bat against a guy of Amari's caliber.
Yeah, and I love to see kind of Dak spread the ball around. And, of course, I really want to see Deuce. I think the looseness that change-up pace that Deuce can give with a wholesome offensive line would be the main difference making in our run game.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. And no, I agree. I'm not disagreeing here. I think Deuce is 100% your change-up running back in a backfield that doesn't have a whole lot of that. I don't think you're going to see a Dalvin Cook early. And I was having this conversation with a couple people, DMV, Foots. I think what Dalvin Cook is best at is something that we haven't proven to do, right? The wide zone, getting him out wide and letting him put his foot in the ground, cut. Maybe they switch that up. We've been more of an inside zone type team. I have no idea what this run game scheme is going to look like. I haven't heard anybody say it's been tweaked, nothing. So it'll be interesting. But Deuce is definitely the juice. And I really hope we approach this thing this year as a true committee for the first time, y'all. I promise you, this is no joke. I don't recall since what? Three-headed monster of Barber, Tashard, Choice, and Felix. And if you really go back, if I remember correctly, the reason why Tashard Choice had to even be involved like that is because Felix Jones was an injury guy, and I think Barber was even starting to get dinged up.
Yeah,
this front office just doesn't believe in it. Where McCarthy does. McCarthy 100% believe. He always uses a committee approach, but he uses a committee approach in numbers. He doesn't use a committee approach in actual philosophy. Like he's not running 3 different guys every week. He's just like, hey, we got 3 running backs and a fullback, and these are the bodies. So because he's not a running coordinator.
No, he's not. But I do think that with the offensive line being more beefed up in the middle, those a lot of those inside run schemes will be more effective this year compared to last year.
I agree.
Now I don't have a lot of faith in Zeke because I just don't see that burst. Like I just see 2 yards, 3 yards, and fall to the ground. A lot of hopping to the side.
Yeah, he's not a burst back, and if we're expecting him to be, you're not gonna like it. But where he can thrive is what you just said, right? Like if they're going to do the inside zone stuff, Zeke's going to read that better than any of these guys. So that those trash can drills that we always laugh at, that's what he does well. You know what I mean? If he has to make a guy miss at the line of scrimmage in regard with the cutback lane, he'll do that. Now, is he going to make a guy miss in the open field? Is he going to make a guy miss running to the outside? That doesn't happen anymore. He used to get them outside corners with the best of them. But if you're saying Cowboys are going to be better on the interior power wise, Zeke can get you positive yards down the middle of the field. It's just beyond that.
I see using him more in goal line situations.
There you go, goal line, red zone. Yeah, he serves that
red
purpose.
zone situation, short yardage. So. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Follow you. Keep up the good work, man. Let me not take up too much of your time.
Salute. Hey, Two Broke. That's what a must win is, bro. I'm just keeping it a bean. Must win means if you don't win, your season's over. Two Broke said I'm crafty. Yeah, I was a little crafty too, bro. You caught me. I got crafty, but that's because look, I'm want to hold y'all to this. Is all. That's the only reason why. Because in other words, why say must win? Talk to me. Talk to me.
Let me talk to you.
Don't call it a must win if it ain't. 172 votes. I'm gonna let it pile up a little bit more. We got a couple super chats. Let me get to that. He caught me there. It's all good. Shouts out to where we got here. 3. All right, a couple of them. Michael Nelson dropped. Almost ended the show. Damn.
Super chat.
Dropped 5 and said, "Good morning, Sky. What I like about this game is that it's played this time of the year where that weather won't be a factor." Yes, sir, Mr. Nelson. We talked about this when the schedule dropped, and this is why this is about the best type of schedule you could have asked for the quality of opponents. You get in the AFC North this year, you get Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. Well, you can get Baltimore at home, but you get Cleveland and Pittsburgh at the, in earlier in the season, so you don't get them late where it's cold, and you get Baltimore and Cincy, I believe, at home. Is that right? So you couldn't ask for a better situation because you get Cleveland in December, you get Pittsburgh in December. Cowboys don't play well in that weather. That's just facts. Toxic, you got COVID. Damn, dog, get better, bro. Don't stress yourself out about must win if you're sitting over there with COVID. Say you're gonna call him when you get better. You look, just get better. You don't even got to. I already know what you're gonna say, man. We know what it is, big dog. We know how you feel. I got you. The Coleman Cowboy.
Super chat.
He dropped 5 and said, it's not a must win, but of course we would like to win. Yeah. And I believe we can win. I'm watching this one relaxed. You know, I am too. It's early in the season, so I don't really have that type of, I don't feel that type of pressure this early. But yeah, I'm relaxed a little bit too, big dog. Not going into this one feeling like that. Especially because, look, man, week 1, let's be real. Week 1 is not an indicator of the season to me, of who you are and who you're going to be. It can't possibly be. You ain't played nobody yet. Your starters ain't played in the preseason. Even if they did play in the preseason, you ain't really game planning. It's vanilla. You're figuring things out. Yeah. I'm chilling. I want to win. They better win. Because if they don't, we're going to call them out. We're going to break it down, of course. But I'm with you. Hey, Ron.
Super chat.
He dropped 5 and said, worst thing you can do is install a brand new system and then change it week 1 to follow a receiver. Keep it as they learned this offseason. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case. That's why I said, what is Zim teaching? Because look, they've game planned for the Browns the last 2 weeks. They've known they had to play this team for a while. Did they go into this thinking the opposite of, hey, man, Diggs is, let's go ahead and follow Bland? Or did they go into this saying, hey, y'all just going to play 100% on one side with safeties? I don't know their game plan. I don't. But if their game plan is you guys play sides 100% of the time and you got safety help, probably roll with it. But what you can't do is not adapt. Hey, Ron. You cannot be a team that does not adapt to your situation. There is no Bland and Diggs anymore. It's rookie 5th round pick and Diggs. So if given the new information, they come and they've had it fortunately for 2 weeks now. They say, look, we're going to roll like this, but we got this in our cards that we will follow Diggs around. Cooper around when need be. For instance, 3rd downs. That's my guy. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if Zim has some type of ace up his sleeve in that regard because he's adapting to what happened to his team. Maybe that was a game plan to roll out Bland, Diggs, play 100% one side. Bland's not there no more. And without Bland, I don't think you just say you don't do anything. I do think you have to tweak something, right, against this guy. Whether it's more roll coverage, whether it's more double teams, whether it's more blitzing the quarterback, whatever you want to do. But I do think you have to adapt to the situation. You don't have the same caliber of player in Kalen Carson just yet. Let me refresh this thing. Shouts out to Rico. Dropped 2 and said, as much as rep the Cowboys, every win's a must. As much as we rep the Cowboys, every win's a must win. So he's kind of in that kind of cliche bag of, hey, you only get 17 of these things, must win. If that's your thought process, then this question ain't really for you. This is really for you believe this is a must win game. Not the, hey, yeah, every game's a must win. Yeah, cliche, right? Yeah, all of them. You got to win all that. You don't have to, but you gotta win them all is what everybody says because that's just what you say. But Toxic ain't talking like, I don't know Toxic. He's not playing with y'all. He's serious. So let me get the results here. We got 227 votes. How do I end this thing? Let me see, man. I got. I'm a little boomer sometimes. Okay, close. Am I signed into my? We're gonna close this thing. We could. Oh no! Damn it! I'm not signed into mine's over here. All right, 1 second. I'm participating with y'all on my phone. Hold up. Here we go. End poll. All right. And here are the results. Is week 1 a must-win game that determines the Cowboys season? 65% no, 34% yes, 240 votes. It felt like it was a little bit more than that, though. Get it together. Sometimes I'm a boomer when it comes to that, man. For a producer who I love to do this, some things just 65% no, 34% yes. I'm shocked, honestly. It felt way more 50-50 in the chat. It felt more 50-50. Brian said, I think it's a must win because of how the year ended. Yeah, man. It did not end well. T for the dag nabbit. I sure was about to say something like that. Brother L, listen, bro. He said, you know, Sky in his prime old man troubleshoot mode when the glass. Let me look closer. I think I told y'all this story, but I used to work with Mary. Shouts out to Mary. I mean, she's super old. She was around when I used to work in the office. They invented the system that we were still using back in like the 80s. And Miss Mary said something that just threw me. She was very nosy. And there was something going on in another cubicle or something, some type of debate, argument, whatever. Miss Mary said, let me take my glasses off so I can hear better. I said, what? Miss Mary, what are you talking about? Yeah, I can't use all my senses at the same time. So she took off her glasses, closed her eyes to hear better. Ah, man, old people, man. I shouldn't talk because I'm gonna get to that point. I need my glasses. I can hear pretty well. I guess it's the same thing when you parallel park and you just automatically turn down your music. Nowadays they got the cameras or whatever, but I don't know if you still I still turn down my music. Let me take off my glasses so I can listen better. It's crazy. Y'all crazy, man. Is toxic in the 34%? Absolutely not. If I left it up to him, it'd be 100%. We in overtime, but in case you are a little bit late, what we did today, we reviewed the Browns offense, broke it down in detail. We talk a little schematics, but the schematics are going to change. Okay, because they have a different offensive coordinator, same play caller, but a different voice, a newer voice. So things are going to change a bit. According to Deshaun Watson, they're going to be a bit more spread. But we broke down some of their key players. Now, look, I didn't get into the offensive line in total, but that is a talented offensive line they have over there in Cleveland. Don't sleep on them. Tomorrow, though, we're going to talk about the heavyweight matchup. I truly do believe this Cowboys offense against that Browns defense is the big ticket matchup. It is not going to be easy. The Browns defense is a very, very good defense. They carried this team for the most part last year. And Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator, has some similarities to Mike Zimmer, which I think could play in favor for the Cowboys, though. Whereas if this happened to be previous years, week 1 might be a bit more of might catch the Cowboys off guard. I don't think they'll be caught off guard, but I still think that defense over there is legit. So we're going to break it all down. Alejandro, the barber, dropped 5 and said, this is one of our tougher schedules due to how the teams we're playing this year are all pretty decent teams besides a couple. Yeah, I don't know if I have the schedule up. The schedule of caliber teams is definitely tough. There's no doubt about it. But the way it matches up, I mean, we broke it down in detail. When they have their bye, when they have that kind of easier part of the schedule, home versus away. I don't think they have a ton of back-to-back road games this year. The way it ends, it just getting the AFC North early in the season on the road. There are small little things about the schedule that plays in the Cowboys' favor. So when you initially or before you saw the schedule, you're like, man, got tough. AFC North you got to deal with. with the Ravens coming off of the AFC Championship. You got to play San Fran again. Your own division is always dealing with them. Yeah, it looked from a distance. It's like, yeah, it's tough. But then it dropped. And I'm like, huh. You navigate through certain parts of your schedule. You can get out of this thing a double-digit win team and head into the playoffs. But I'll say this before we move forward. Brother L, go to hell.
Super chat.
He dropped 2 and said, this is for the hearing aid fund. Hashtag Studio 2024, 2025. I'll say this before I get up out of here. Somebody calling in. We'll get to the call. I'm going to keep saying this too. How the Cowboys play towards the end of the season means way more to me than the record. I think they're going to playoffs. I believe in that. How they're playing, though, means way more. Oh, this is appropriate. We're going to end the show. It's only right we end the show. The very first week, we get our guy, JR, back in the building. Sir, where you been?
Yeah, what's good, baby? Oh man, it's week 1.
It's week 1. Man.
Oh, it's week 1. We here. Now we are here. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. We done made it through a lot. A lot didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? I lost my mom, man.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that,
4th
bro.
of July weekend, man.
Damn.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, man. And it's crazy because my mom will watch the games and she'll call me all just to talk about Dak and how Jerry Jones messed it up when he got into it with Jimmy, and the Cowboys ain't been good since, and Dak ain't gonna do nothing, and this and that, and it's like I used to be the fit. I'm like, no, mama, you don't understand. See what? No, that ain't Dak's fault. See, because you know what I'm saying?
Now
man.
you wish you could just hear her complain every day now, man. I hear you. I feel you, bro.
Man, but you know what? It makes me enjoy this community that we have built, man. Because think about, you were still in Philly. You were still in Philly, bro. When it's really, really started taking off, you know what I'm saying? Or at least when I hopped in,
Yeah, I was back
and it's
home.
like, man, look how far we done came, man, and look how many people, and not just on your channel, but man, the community has coalesced. You know what I'm saying? We got Foots, we got Okoye, we got Vach, we got Lots of Law in here. What's up, Law, baby? You know what I'm saying? We got, Edit Ladies Love Sports Podcast. You know what I'm saying? You got, you got Mark Holmes. You got Boss Cow. Landlord was in the chat. And started his own channel.
Yeah.
And now you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's grown. The community is definitely, grown. And that's why I always say I think it's the deepest international football league, bar none.
Man, you know what I'm saying? So, for us to finally be here, week 1, we finally get full Cowboys football, baby. Woo! I'm excited. I'm so excited, you know what I'm saying? And this is going to be a new chapter for me, and it makes being a part of this community so much more special because now I got y'all to even lean on even more, you know what I'm saying?
I'm about to say, one thing I've realized over the years we've dealt with, when I say we, as this specific community at least, a lot of losses, right? To a lot of the fans. And one thing I've always noticed is that this community is always there for the fans, no matter what. No matter if you disagree with that player or with that person about a player or the team or whatever, all that gets put to the side. The legitimate people, there's some crazies out there, but the legitimate good people, good-hearted people are always here. So 100%, man. Look, we here for you. JR, I think you even got my number when I met you a few times. Shouts out to you and your pops, the restaurant, things like that.
Yeah,
if you need me, you know how to reach me.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, now I'm going to leave on this one. How are you feeling about our D-line? You know what I'm saying? Going into week 1. We got a break. We ain't got to go up against Chubb. But how you feeling?
I actually like it. I talked about this with one of the fans in the chat. If you're talking about over the course of the season, there is concerns about, some of the older veteran defensive tackles wearing down. But for week 1, with no Nick Chubb, a banged up, Cleveland offensive line potentially, week 1 is always wacky. They don't know how we're going to play with these new guys. Micah Parsons is ready to go out there, improve some. I like this matchup. I'm not saying we just totally dominate them because that still is a respectable offensive line over there. But
yeah,
I mean, look, man, Phillips and Linval, Joseph and Micah, D-Law, Nealon. Hell, even Chauncey Golston as a rotational guy. Like I like this matchup week 1 for them to go out there and compete and make it tough on this offensive line.
Yeah, I think we done went back into the days pre-D-Law, Tyrone Crawford, Stephen Bowen, Jason Hatcher, Anthony. So I think that's where we are.
Yeah,
I think we're there, and we're gonna have to see some guys rally and win some that they wouldn't expect it to on paper. We're gonna see a lot of heart. There's gonna be a lot of heart that's gonna be out there that's gonna get us back into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? But that's all. I ain't gonna take up the time, man. Everybody, y'all hear me, y'all see me, y'all are here. We have come home because you could have been anywhere else this morning, sipping your coffee, eating your donut, clocking in, fake doing work, but tuned in because here is where you get the best coverage. There's no one else doing it like this, where you can get good coverage and you get good people. This is a family. This is our nation. This is A to Z Sports with the one and only Skywalker Skill. And the sky's the limit, baby. So if you like what you heard, you like what you've seen, go on and hit that like button. Go on and hit that subscribe button. Tune in because this season, this week, we going up to the top, baby. And we got Sky leading the way. Whoa! How about them Cowboys, baby? Let's get it.
I mean, I told y'all the perfect way to end the show. Shouts out to JR, brother. Look forward to hearing from you for the rest of the year. Great stuff. Great stuff. I don't got nothing else to say other than appreciate y'all for being here on the first preview show of the season. We will only continue to get better. Y'all know me. I'm always finding little quirks to make each season different and better, and I will continue to do that. Shouts out to my guy, Dontrell. Appreciate you. Dropped a dollar in the chat on the way out. And like I said, man, you cannot end the show better than that. So you know what? I usually press the button, and I'm going to press this. Okay?
Push the goddamn button.
But I feel like because the way JR brought that energy, it's only right that we go out with that same energy.
Can you hear me? I want you to listen to me right now. This place was built for you and for football, and it's about to explode. Today is not about the past. It's not about the future. It's about right here, right now. Our players are about to take the field and put everything on the line. All the work, sweat, pain, and tears that they have poured into making themselves ready to win. When the Cowboys do that, they need to know that you are with them. We are all here together. One heartbeat, one purpose, one goal as family. We know the only way to achieve the ultimate goal is as family, together. For today, on this field, legends will be made. Legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
Y'all feel it? It's that time. I'm ready for it. Are you ready? I feel the tension. I feel the electricity. The urge is setting in. We're gonna dig in and fight. Hit them and then hit them some more. This game means everything to these boys. They need to hear you. So get up and let your boys hear you because they believe they can win it all for you. Come on, Dallas. Let's open up a can.
Be able to stand in front of you and get started on this unique, very unique opportunity. Obviously, anytime you got a chance to be part of an NFL opportunity, it's special. But I think stating the obvious, the uniqueness of this battle with COVID that we got in front of us, not only just here professionally, but personally. Everything we do will be about winning.